Welcome to Mupdates, your monthly Medfield updates. I'm AUDREY, ENSOR, Chief Editor at Medfield TV. Today, we're covering what happened in February 2020. Let's get right into it. In the Selectmen meeting held on February 4th, concerned citizens of the neighborhood addressed their issues with the legitimacy of the process of the Rose Bay development project, stating it hasn't been clear with its process. After many back-and-forth discussions on legality of this project, Candace Avery, Director of the Medfield Housing Authority, spoke on their behalf after listening in on citizens' concerns.
Since I and other neighbors learned about the Rose Bay development project, we've stated many times that we're not opposed to affordable housing or to a reasonably sized, affordable senior housing development next to Tilton Village. However, we're here tonight to discuss a serious concern about the legitimacy of the process, whether the process the Medfield Housing Authority followed, which led to the Rose Bay proposal for 45 units on Pound Street, is legally valid.
You've made a good argument, so I think the merits of your argument, whether you're right or wrong, I don't know, but the merits, I personally buy into. It's two proper questions to ask. One is about the disposition of the 30B, and the second is the propriety of the actual contract itself. But I think due diligence on our part has us need to figure out, A, is this in fact an action that we need to take? And B, where is the proper theater for that to be taken? And what I think I heard tonight is the place where this gets resolved is at the state level, because we have no authority over the housing authority or anything.
I wanted to hear everybody's concerns, as the Housing Authority has wanted to hear all across the boards. And we have been working diligently to make sure that our process has been transparent, legal, forthright.
We're sensitive to the ZBA deadlines. It sounds like there's been a continuance that's gone out to the middle of April. We're talking days, and let's just say sometime this month.
Right,
Okay.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Jean Miniow, president of the Cultural Alliance of Medfield, discussed the latest draft for the Cultural Center lease and answered questions regarding the framework of the historic tax credits, the language of the lease, and next steps. Steve Nolan, from the Medfield State Hospital Master Planning Committee, covered the process of the historic tax rates. This involved a discussion around investors and creating revenue to pay its debt.
I took a look at the lease really thinking, is it financeable from two perspectives? One is, could you close a mortgage loan with a senior lender, and could you close on an equity investment, which are two likely sources of money, and then there'll be contributions and other things as well. That is one of the challenges of convincing the investor and whatever lender you have to put their money in the project, because they have the same kind of underwriting issues that you would expect. They're going to look for a track record of seeing the operations of CAM and up until that point, and the ability to raise money in case there's a shortfall. And also they'll do a market study and see what is the demand for the facility. I know Jean's already done some market studies, trying to prove out that there is a demand for this and it can generate sufficient revenue, but the lenders are going to look pretty hard at that as well.
To view the entire Selectmen meeting, watch on our website, medfield.tv, or on our YouTube page, Medfield TV. The first school committee meeting of the month took place on February 13th with several important presentations. Beth Sancher, advisor of students for the National Honor Society, and Gail Duffy, the faculty council chair, came back to present their revised proposal of a new GPA criteria for the Medfield High School National Honor Society.
And we decided that, based on the continued feedback, to re-propose a 3.6 weighted instead of a 3.8 unweighted. Move into a weighted GPA will allow for students who take honours, C1 and C2 classes an opportunity to be considered eligible. It makes it more fair across the board.
Social Studies Department Chair for grades 6 to 12, Kathleen Emerson, presented the new Social Studies framework for grades K through 12. The aim for the new framework is to have more courses that would accurately reflect the diversity of the world today and allow for more inclusivity with the subject matters, as well as a focus on civic life.
So the world that we're sending our kids into is very different than the world we grew up in, and certainly very different than what most have experienced in Medfield, and I think this is a really awesome opportunity to expose them to a lot of diversity. The best way to teach history, through inquiry, through problem solving, through informed opinion. Facts are important, but they are not as important as they used to be because we have them on our phones. So our job as history teachers is to work with those facts and help kids understand cause and effect and possible solutions.
The full school committee meeting can be seen on our website, medfield.tv, or on our YouTube page, Medfield TV. On February 18th, the Selectmen Meeting started off with the topic of the annual car show in June 2020 with Charlie Harris. He asked for the approval of putting up advertisements on Route 109 and Route 16 to further attract interest in the upcoming show.
I'd be looking for the date of Sunday, June 28th, same hours, 9 to 3, and a setup date the day before, and Monday for the breakdown. I'm hoping that I can get a couple billboards, one on 109 and one on Route 16, to promote the show even more with Corcoran and Havlin out of Medfield here, and then Imperial Cars out of Mendon. They're each gonna help sponsor billboards. So that should bring a whole lot more spectators into town and everything.
The Coolidge Corner Theater Foundation's program manager, Mark Anastasio, came to the Selectmen meeting to talk about screening the film Shutter Island by Martin Scorsese at the Medfield State Hospital. As you may know, Shutter Island was shot on location at the Medfield State Hospital. They're hoping this fact will cause more attraction. The logistics of running the event were then discussed.
We charge tickets in order to cover our costs. The rental fee is not completely out of the question, but it would make it a bit easier for the Coolidge to move forward with this if we were to talk about a 50% split of the net in lieu of that rental fee. My guess would be between 200 and 250 people would come out for this show. We were proposing that it take place on Friday, May 1st, but we've done dozens of these so far, and audiences have always been respectful at every location we've presented them at. We've never had incident, and they're always a great time. And this is going to be particularly cool because we've never screened a film where it was shot, and so many of those exterior shots in Shutter Island are so obviously Medfield State Hospital. So.
The FY 2021 budget was also covered that night. Some of the topics the Selectmen went over were the projection of the free cash balance, the town's total reserves, and the Dale Street project reimbursement.
Just to read what you just said there.
Sure.
So I'm looking at 1.58 for FY21.
Correct.
583 for FY22, so there's about $1 million.
So once we take the money out to fund our fiscal 21 budget, there will be 1.587 million left in that stabilization fund. So we have our total reserves for fiscal 21 under the current budget as it stands is about $6 million. So that gets us at 8.91% of expenditures, which does meet the reserve policies of 7.5%, but misses our target of 9 to 12%.
You can watch the entire Selectmen meeting on our website, medfield.tv, or on our YouTube page, Medfield TV. On February 26th, a Dale Street School Building Committee meeting was held at the Public Safety Building. During the meeting, Arrow Street's Larry Sprang gave a presentation with the purpose of covering potential site locations, grade configuration, the current Dale Street school condition, and educational programming. The presentation included a consolidation of all the survey feedback they received from school staff, parents, and the community. Sprang and Medfield Superintendent Dr. Marsden then went on to give some highlights from the survey results.
Class size was really important for people. There's a lot of stars in there. As we know, that's something that this community values a lot, and we saw that through a budget process a few years ago when we were going to increase class sizes. Parents of multiple kids want a campus setting, and they want to build it Wheelock, so they're not driving around town all over the place like they are now. They want to be able to go to one campus, grades 1 through 5, and make sure they can get their kids all in one spot.
You can find this presentation within the Dale Street School Building Committee meeting video on our website, medfield.tv, or on our YouTube page, Medfield TV. The same Dale Street presentation was taken to the school committee meeting, which took place on February 27th at the Dale Street School. This allowed the school committee to address their thoughts and pose questions. To see the coverage of that school committee meeting, head over to our website, medfield.tv, or to our YouTube page, Medfield TV. This month, Medfield TV had the pleasure of working with the Medfield High School Theater Society to create a promotion video for their performance of Into the Woods.
So right now we're doing Into the Woods, which is a musical written by James Lapine, and the music is by Stephen Sondheim.
So we're doing Into the Woods, which is a take on a bunch of classic fairy tales The story is about a bunch of mixed up fairy tales, so all the classic characters all kind of combine through the story of the baker and the baker's wife.
There are other fairy tale creatures that appear throughout the story, such as Little Red Riding Hood, Jack from Jack and the Beanstalk, Cinderella, Rapunzel.
The baker and his wife want to have a child, but a curse has been set upon their family so that they can't conceive a child. So a witch who lives next door to them tells them to go into the woods and fetch 4 ingredients to reverse the curse.
And they go on an adventure into the woods, and it gets pretty crazy.
Into the Woods is a complex musical.
It starts off very typical of a typical fairy tale, but then is later subverted and revealed to be a lot deeper.
Linked in our Instagram bio, our amazing secretary, Kathleen, has been putting together a behind-the-scenes vlog so you can see what's going on at rehearsals.
The play will be performed on March 13th, 14th, and 15th.
Get your tickets. I think this show is definitely the one where everyone's really working hard. You can tell that there's such a difference between, what we've done in the past and what we're doing now.
You're making something amazing, and it's just a wonderful feeling.
We're all brought together through the love of the show.
Medfield TV also interviewed Susan Cowell, K-12 Wellness Department Head, and Russell Becker, School Adjustment Counselor, about the results of the MetroWest Adolescent Health Survey on our show, A Discussion With. Here is a preview of the interview.
The MetroWest is 26 communities, if I have that number correctly. 26 communities, and so this graph shows the comparison of Medfield to the rest, and we don't have to go through each one. It's pretty evident what it's showing is Medfield is using higher than the communities around it.
Parents could, they want to first check themselves and make sure that they're modeling appropriate alcohol use and not using alcohol in excess themselves. They want to talk with their kids about the dangers of alcohol use and the dangers to the developing brain, the dangers around addiction. The younger you are, when you first initiate the use of alcohol, the more likely you are to develop addiction to that. Any parents who have any type of addiction in their families, whether it's alcohol or any other substance, they should be sharing that information with their kids because they are biologically at higher risk. Any mental health issues that the parents have in their families, they should be sharing that with their kids because that puts them at higher risk for substance use.
There's one slide in particular that I tend to gravitate towards that pinpoints the levels of stress that our students are feeling, the levels of depressive symptoms, anxiety, current self-harm, and suicidality. So that, I think, really encapsulates mental health as kind of a blanket, and through that you can kind of tease out various trends and sort of comorbidities with some of the other pieces. But I think it's interesting to point out because, like you said, we have a ton of engagement. The numbers, however, don't quite match up. So it's not like the 10% of kids who are not going to sports or going to clubs after school. It's not them who are the lonely ones.
Right.
It's more than that. And so I think there's a lot of kids who are engaged. There's a lot of kids that on paper have a lot of social connections or might be talking in the halls with other kids, but then go home and don't really know how to engage past the confines of their schedule.
We have such terrific kids and great families in town, and I think that people just need more education. Kids get health education, and they hear it in the health classroom, but they need to see it modeled in the community.
Next up, we have an update from Town Planner Sarah Raposa, who invites you to the second Townwide Master Plan Public Forum on Thursday, March 26th from 7 to 9:30 p.m.
I'm here to welcome you to the next public forum for the Townwide Master Planning process. It is scheduled for Thursday, March 26th at 7 p.m. at the Medfield High School Gymnasium. This is the next session in the conversation that the town of Medfield is having about where it sees itself in the next 20 years. We held a community dinner and public forum on October 20th, where we got a lot of really good information about the visions and goals for the town. And this next forum will be a summary of where we are to date, an enumeration of the existing documents that the town has done in recent years, and also a draft discussion about those visions and goals that were collected. To prepare for this forum, we ask that you go to the town's website and download the summary sheets for each element of the master plan. We have summary sheets for housing, economic development, cultural and natural resources, natural, open space and recreational resources, land use and zoning, public facilities and services, and a transportation chapter. You'll also find a chapter on Medfield State Hospital. We ask that you RSVP so we can provide refreshments for the event. There is a sign up on the town's website, www.town.medfield.net, or if you go to eventbrite.com and search under Medfield events.
Be sure to attend this second townwide master plan public forum to join in the conversation on March 26th. This month, Brett Poirier, Medfield TV's general manager, conducted an interview with State Representative Shawn Dooley regarding voting information and his service as interim town clerk.
We actually have a town election as well coming up.
Right.
And that's, when is that going to be?
That's on the 30th. And I think we're finishing up the ballots right now. And so those will get posted on the town clerk's website any day now.
Viewers should know, and they might be a little confused as to why their representative is here for town elections. Can you tell us a little bit about, it's a huge favor that you're actually doing for the town of Medfield.
Yeah, I was going to say, I love elections, it's a lot of fun, but I used to be a town clerk, and the Medfield town clerk for the past 25 years retired on Valentine's Day. And unfortunately, they never had an assistant, and so there wasn't really any backup in place. And so it became a little bit of an emergency situation. Christine, the town administrator, and some of the selectmen called me up, and they're like, hey, we have a question. I was wondering if you could do us a favor. And I'm like, oh. So yeah, I love doing elections. It's a lot of fun.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Thank you thanks for stopping by and saying hi.
Yeah, and make sure everyone comes out and votes.
A huge thank you to Representative Dooley for stepping in as interim town clerk. Be sure to vote on March 30th in the town election. And now we have an update from Chief of Police Michelle Guerette.
Hello, I'm Chief Michelle Guerette with the Medfield Police Department. I'd like to talk to you about a new initiative that was recently enacted. It's the Distracted Driving Initiative. The state has now restricted the use of mobile devices and other electronic devices while operating your motor vehicle. You should remember that while you're on the road, you should be off your phone. To support this initiative, I have directed my officers to begin heavy traffic enforcement, particularly in the downtown or center of town area, to enforce this new law. We are telling drivers, if you are under 18 years of age, you may not be on any electronic device. Those of you who are over 18 years of age are able to use navigation. We encourage people to please get hands-free equipment so that they may utilize whatever features they need on their phone safely. Remember, this is for your safety, the safety of the public, pedestrians, and other vehicles. Additionally, we will be enforcing the Don't Block the Box, which is located in front of Janes Ave. This is in an effort to improve traffic performance through the center of town so that we can get people to their locations quicker and without unnecessary delays. If you see an officer at this location, we are hoping not to write you a ticket. So please, remember, don't block the box. Lastly, and this is a message from my officers, in an effort to make sure that if you need police or rescue or fire services, that we can get to you quickly, please remember to update the decals and numbers on your mailboxes. It allows us to find your location faster and get you the help you need. Thank you, have a great month, and we look forward to next month's update.
Medfield TV also covered A Capella Night, presented by Borchers Trust Law on February 28th at the Medfield High School. The night featured Berkeley College's On the Vox, Medfield High School's SOUNDWAVES, and Medfield Junior Jazz Choir. There were also performances from Montrose School, Newton North High School, Westwood High School, and Zavarian Brothers High School. Complete coverage of A Capella Night will be available on our website, medfield.tv, or on our YouTube page, Medfield TV. That's all we've got for February 2020. To stay up to date with all things Medfield, be sure to like Medfield TV on Facebook and follow us on Twitter and Instagram @Medfield TV. Watch full episodes of all of our shows on our website, medfield.tv, or on our YouTube page, Medfield TV. Lastly, don't forget to tune in to our cable stations, channels 8, 12, and 22 on Comcast, and channels 36, 45, and 47 on Verizon. Thanks for watching the February 2020 episode of Mupdates. See you next month.